Hello everyone, I'm Livia J. Elliot, an Australia-based writer of speculative fiction. Today, I want to read you the beginning of my weirdest book with choices so far, MEANS of EGRESS. It is a slow-burn, dungeon crawler book with choices that, as usual for me, verges the philosophical. It is also the most complex interactive fiction I have written so far, and I estimate it has about 182 ways of traversing the dungeon. That said, let's get started. The fall is unstoppable, unrelenting, unavoidable. The wanderer plunges, magic swallowing a panicked scream, darkness engulfing the figure as it falls. Rock and mist pass by, leaving water drops on those frowning brows. But there is no fatal landing blow, no killer ground, no shattering collision. The wanderer lands softly, grimy boots first, dainty. An ominous rumble echoes through the cavern, still blurred by the mist and shadows from the vacuum above. Crystals tremble ahead, adding to the cacophony of the cave a shimmer of light seeping from the ceiling above. I look up, eyes narrowing at the streaks of light. I look up, a hand shielding my eyes from the light ahead. When did I fall? One moment I was on the League's Academy and now I'm here? Did my dungeon run commence so early? Bewildered, I assess the grotto without moving. It looks like an entry point where everything begins. A few golden rays cascade from above, and the wanderer looks up, enthralled. A faint breeze seeps through, bringing the stagnated air of whatever lies outside. But it vanishes, overwhelmed by the scent of this cave, a mixture of glory, laurel, and promises. The wanderer sighs, weary at the only other option, the crystal formation, shrouded in shadows and darkness. I mince carefully towards the crystals to inspect myself in the reflection. I move slowly first, nonplussed, but the need to see myself becomes overwhelming and I'm stumbling, rushing, desperation pushing me until I hesitantly hover over the amethyst to see my recognizable, known figure. The wanderer reaches the amethyst scattered among the mist but startles, shocked by the echoes of water drops. The movement reflects on the crystal formation, and the human finally sees a familiar figure. A woman, resolved and unwavering, ready to face the dungeon's challenges. She looks the same as always, with her pursed mouth tightening the scar on her upper lip, nose scrunched by the smell, brows even more scrunched in distress. The wanderer tilts her head, inspecting the cheekbones and her slender, leather-gloved fingers, but she is healthy and uninjured. Returning to the crystals, the wanderer rolls her arms, grunting and prodding her shoulders. Then she cracks her neck, tests the elbows, and hops in place, clearly gauging the state of her abilities. A sensible, safe choice. Nodding in approval, she ties her long hair into a low tail and steps a few paces before checking the trousers and leather vest. I stall, confused. One moment I was on the League's Academy and now I'm here? Why did everything start so early? I have 2 years of training left and I have yet to apprentice in a class. Panic rushes through me as I prod my leather belt, finding the pockets empty, until my knowledge of the rulebook soothes me. According to it, the League will provide for me, and the dungeon run will end in glory. It should be easy. I shudder, anxiously remembering how clear the rulebook is about the penalties of not meeting expectations, deterring and disappointing. I wait, distraught, feet shuffling until I nod and square. Onwards and upwards, as I said, it will help me clear my mind. Strangely, she seems annoyed for some obscure reason, but soon relaxes, knowing that the League shall provide for her, and fairly quickly. Thus, the wanderer squints into the shadowing darkness after the crystals and finally advances. I peek back into the grotto just to double-check it quickly before leaving. The wanderer halts, wasting time to look back into the empty grotto, quite against the rulebook's implicit instructions. She sighs, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, gaze hopping from the crystal to the stone-made walls. She exhales after a while, scratching her chin with slouched shoulders and realizing there was no need to waste time. The path onwards was designed to be evident. Mastering my courage, I finally means through the grotto's gloomy exit. The shadows recede as the wanderer walks, the rocky and uneven ground giving way to the broken stone tiles. Moss forms between the cracks, and the broken statue of a guardian looms over from the left curvy wall. The wanderer squares her shoulders, standing on guard and assessing the three pathways ahead. The leftmost corridor opens after the statue, thick and illuminated with a spellbound torchlight flaring scentless and endless. The rightmost corridor is thinner, and the entrance lights up in the same hue. A breeze of fresh air seeps from it, scented like rotting pinewood, decaying flowers, and stained water. Finally, the corridor continues bright and cleaner, albeit thick shadows disguise its end. The path onwards is straightforward, as per the rulebook. The mission is clear: to defeat the odds that await her and emerge victorious, whatever the cost. Chewing on my lips, I assess the tripartite split, momentarily confused. The instructors often mention that a junction will be the first room we'd encounter. They also said that in such cases I should go straight, but I didn't expect it to be the first room, or any room for that matter. I thought it was a figure of speech, just general advice regarding what to do when facing a junction. Any junction, not the junction. I swallow. That advice was also vague. While the instructors said to go straight after the junction, they never clarified what to do with these laterals. A roguish smile tugs at my lips, gaze diverting to those sinuous corridors with unfulfilled intrigue. Now that the dungeon unfolds before me, my old curiosity returns. It was always promptly and embarrassingly put away by the instructors. I frown, glancing at the center. I dread exploring or diverting. I dread exploring only because the rulebook was quite clear about the consequences that the touring could bring. Everything at the academy was dull, plain, and known, so now I'm excited to explore every single path. But then again, I dread the consequences. That looping sequence of excitement and dread, going on and on, spiraling into a restlessness so far unknown, and looking at the paths around doesn't help me. I aim rightwards. That breeze will help me clear my mind, and the league has no way of finding out. The corridor is narrow and devoid of life, but the wanderer halts after a few paces, mesmerized by the vines creeping into the stone walls. Surprised, she hastens her pace, landing in an enclosed garden. Magic crawls through the trees, glowing on the teal water of a still working fountain and blossoming like flowers and apples. Trees grows in a corner, and some harbor pots with livant plants glowing with spells or oozing charms. The place is a misplaced gem, but its magic does not come from the noble blaze lineage, and the wanderer knows it. She scowls at the stalactite-ridden ceiling, prods the grass, and smells the central fountain before startling near the center. Is she confused by the magic? She should be scared, not bewildered. I am at peace here, at home even. This garden is peaceful. It brims with magic and life, relaxed and welcoming. I chuckle, sour. The league will shun me away just for having that thought. And that very same realization embitters me enough to hastily trudge back towards the junction. Regardless, a tiny grin creeps into my lips. I enjoy that place. Soon, the wanderer returns to the junction and, once and for all, follows the league's straightforward path. Content with my little divergency, I prowl towards the central hallway, following the rulebook. She hastens across the corridor, minding the statues and the rubble strewn across the floor. A scowl contorts her face, but after noticing the light at the other end, the wanderer hurries with wonder in her eyes. She crosses the threshold, framed by two small marble statues, and gasps at the dungeon's main hall, prepared by the league to simplify the wanderer's adventure and remind her of their power. The main hall is dark and shadowy, barely illuminated by two large enchanted sconces near the opposite wall. A richly embroidered red carpet covers the central avenue, aligning with the marble archways holding the cavernous ceiling. It extends from the entrance to a marble-made statue of the founding noble-blade sorcerer. Glitters of magic flicker near it, stunning yet threatening. The wanderer dares 2 steps from the threshold, and magic flashes multicolored behind her, closing the main hall's entrance. She turns, uselessly and desperately, gawking at the wall of transparent magic. It covers the entire entrance, rippling like hazy water and preventing a return. Yet for some unexplained reason, the wanderer laces around the main hall as if afraid to act, when the next action is obvious. She must approach the noble Blaze statue immediately. Alas, this wonder is already hinting at the possibility of disobedience, and the watchful League is not satisfied. I frown, scratching my chin. Is this the main hall? The rulebook also explained that dungeons had a central room where 2 staircases will open, and we will need to choose one during the so-called breaking point, upwards to glory through the League's path, or downwards to scorn and humiliation. But again, I thought it was a central room of sorts, not the main hall. I glanced at my feet and the carpet stretching from the entrance to the other end. Again, the rulebook suggests going straight to the noble Blaze statue, and I trace it back and forth with my gaze, tempted. I could inspect the room, then hop back on the carpet and walk a straight line to the statue. I chuckle, amused at my own curiosity but aggravated by the apprehension it brings. I shouldn't deviate, or I will be labeled as a Noble Blaze flagship. That's all. Thank you so much for listening, and if this piqued your interest, Means of Egress can be read through the app Unearthed Stories, available for both Android and iOS. I will leave a link in the description. Thanks for listening, and happy reading!